Mati Greenberg. I had no idea what his story was. In 1995, there was a broadcast on Polish television where a number of Israeli children who were rescued in the Holocaust, taken to convents or to monasteries or hidden in people's basements by righteous Poles, they told their stories on Polish television. So Mati Greenberg tells his story. All he knows that his real name was Tolik Weinstein. He was put on a train and left there for the entire day until a very kind Polish nurse took her home to her parents, who had a bakery called the Bulik Bakery, which now exists in Toronto. There's a Bulik Bakery, which is a kosher bakery in Toronto. The family moved here. That's all he knows about his story.
Główkę wysadzał i tak. I na krzesełku, ale miał taki jakiś, że tak przychodził się obcierał, nie? I tak.
Pragnął tej miłości.
Zaglądał, jak stanął nawet z tyłu, to główkę wysadzał i tak.
And Poles were asked, does anybody identify the story? And as that story was being told on Polish television, Matilda was there with her grandmother, Antonina Liro, and she became very emotional.
We're sitting on the couch, three of us, and we're just randomly changing channels, and suddenly we see this documentary. Suddenly Mati started to tell his story, and my grandma, like this, just recognized him in a split of a second.
She said, I know that story. I was the woman who put him on the train. I was best friends with his parents. His mother could no longer take care of him, and so I saved him, but after a few weeks, the Nazis are moving in, and I had no choice. I put him on a train, hoping someone would rescue him. I never knew what happened to him.
Of course, she was very emotional, all of us, because we heard the story about the boy for so long. And that's how we found out that he survived. She found out that he survived.
הגיע מכתב מפולין, ממישהי שאני לא מכיר בכלל. פתחתי, אני מתחיל לקרוא, וכמו שאומרים, נהיה לי חלש.
Mati came to us a few days, like 5 days after that.
And she connected with Mati Greenberg, and for the first time in her life, he found out who he was.
Before the Second World War, my grandma Antonina Liro married to an amazing, successful lawyer, a Jewish guy. They were very in love. They were living in a beautiful spot in Warsaw, and their best friends were actually their neighbors, Turla and Mieczysław, and they had a little boy named Tolo Weinstein. So when the Second World War started, they were very quickly taken to ghetto, and they were doing everything to save the boy. My grandmother couldn't take him because her husband left to Great Britain, and she by herself, Gestapo was looking for her. She was 20 years old and she was scared, and she didn't have a place to hide him. She didn't have a place to stay with him. So for a few weeks, she was hiding in forests, hiding in the countryside, and trying to figure out what to do, how to rescue them both. So she did something controversial. She decided to put him in a train, little local train, with this note, who he is, and please take care of him. And she thought maybe this is going to be a way that both of them will survive. That was the last time when she saw him, and she didn't know what happened with him. So thanks to this, first of all, he learned everything about his past, about his parents, who they were, how they live. And second of all, my grandma could finally know the story how he was rescued.
אני לא יודע, אבל אחרי המקרה הזה ואחרי ההופעה של לינה, אז אולי באמת צריך להבין בניסים.
Thank you so much for inviting us. It's an honor and pleasure, and it's really amazing that I could meet finally Michael Bulik and be here with you. I saw this documentary about 20 years ago. I was a little girl, and I didn't know much by then about people who survived Holocaust, people with no identities.
Just a sequence of events that are so extraordinary that you can't imagine how they happen. And everything, even us being here, it's just a small part of the whole big picture.
So what do you think was it about your families, the qualities, the human qualities that they had, that would have inspired them to do what they did, which was incredibly risky?
Well, my grandma was just, being human in this situation, and she was a very good, generous person. That's all what I can say.
Yeah.
Just being human.
All of us, we think we would do the same. But in reality, when it comes down to it, my grandfather, the only story I remember is when he talked about, the army, the German army coming to his next door neighbor and in front of his eyes shooting the whole family because they're doing the same thing. And there he is, faced with that, same quandary. If, he has 4 kids, there's seven people in the house risking their lives for one little boy.
Right.
And it was much easier to say, okay, there he is.
This story changed definitely many lives, also my life. I'm a great, great fan of Israel, and it's my second home, so that's it. Thank you very much.
This is presented to Matilda Liro.
Yes. Read it.
Yeah, granddaughter of Antonina Liro, righteous among the nations.
Thank you so much. Honor.